Hey everybody, my name is Trey Walk and I am a former advocate at CEF. I had the honor and privilege of spending three of the most formative years of my life as an advocate with the Community Empowerment Fund, and so I'm really honored to be sharing digital space with you all tonight to just reflect a little bit about why this organization and this community is so special to me and really special to all of us, especially at this moment in the world in which we find ourselves. I arrived at Duke and I was a student, and I felt pretty dislocated and disenchanted sort of with what I was seeing as far as disparities and inequalities, and a real sort of silence around that on campus and then also in the broader Durham community. And I didn't really find a home in Durham until I found CEF. There were some older advocates who sort of cornered me into showing up to an interest meeting, and I didn't know what I was showing up for or getting myself into, and I found a home there. It was really special. I, for the first time, connected with other students who were really interested in learning about racial equity and thinking about, the historical origins of that, but also how it plays out in our everyday lives and how we show up with each other. Our CEF staff were amazing mentors for me, taught me and showed me what it actually looks like to be trauma informed when we interact with people and to meet people where they are and to understand what else is going on in the world around them. And then our members who taught me so much, working on everything from how to build a better resume to how to work through a housing situation, maybe where a landlord was unfair or unforgiving, and also just what it means to show up consistently with a member and every week check in and say, hey, how are you doing? How are your kids? How's your life? And those relationships that are at the core of what CEF does are so special. They allow people who are in different places in their lives to connect, and the thing that bonds them is not necessarily similarities, but they are bonded by the fact that they care that the other person gets what they need, that they're able to live a little bit freer in this world that we find ourselves in. And so I think that that's really special. It's really important in a world where there's these historical origins of systemic racism and inequality, and that we have a place that sort of models out what a better world can look like and feel like, and CEF does that. It says whoever comes through that door, you're welcome here. We see you, and we're going to work as hard as we can to help you get what you need and to make this community a better place. And I just hope that none of us ever take that for granted. It's rare, it's radical, it's extraordinary. And I'm really grateful that I had an opportunity to be a part of it. I'm really grateful that there are advocates like me who have been sent out into the world, across the country and literally across the world, to work in different spaces, but they have this training that's rooted in community and rooted in trauma-informed care and in racial equity and in relationship building. And I'm excited for what the world's going to look like as more advocates start to go out and as more members are empowered to change the communities in Durham and Chapel Hill and make those more equitable and livable places for everybody. So to the CEF staff, members, advocates, y'all keep at it. The work you're doing is so important and urgent and needed right now. And to everybody else, donate, please donate.
Well, working with CEF has given me somebody that kind of like holds my hand. If I have a problem, they'll work through it with me, getting professional advice. A lot of the advocates are young college students, and they're hip, update what's going on. And it makes me feel very comfortable to have somebody holding my hand when I am stressed about certain things, and they help a lot. And questions, we all have questions. I have somebody who's listening. They're not on the phone, they're right there with me, answering my questions the best they can. Not only one advocate, but if she doesn't or he doesn't know the answer, they can go ask another advocate or somebody else. They have lots of resources. And it's a great way to make money. if you put money in the bank, they will match your money 15%, which is, people who own stock would love that option. And it's a very high return for your money. And money makes the world go round. And when my truck broke down, $500 repair, I had $500 in the CEF bank account, which they helped me establish. And there you go. I had $500 instead of junking the truck. I got it fixed. So, CEF empowers me to feel good about myself and humanity.
Hey everybody, this is the CEF Advocacy Trial, and we are presenting you with 2 songs that were written by me, hoping that you will really enjoy the song. So here is the choir. 2, 3. People always ask me why I'm always so happy and never down, and why I'm always laughing, how they never seem to catch me with a frown. Some may think it's not real, and I know that a lot feel it's a show. So I wrote this song to tell you about some people I'm familiar with and know. So I tell them that it's you. You're the reason why I smile. You pick me up when I am low. That's what you get when you need help. There's so much that I can say about the people I'm referring to. CEF, CEF, I'm so glad that we found you. I wake up in the morning thankful of a new day dawning just to see all the advocates in the office and members work together like you and me. How hard we work daily, share our joys and sorrows, don't you know? I'ma share it one more time, so listen closely, here we go. Now you may not understand about the members we're talking about. I'ma sing this song again, and when this song ends, try them out. So I tell them that it's you. You're the reason why I smile. You pick me up when I am low. That's what you get when you need help. There's so much that I can say about the people I'm referring to. CEF, 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 CEF.
Nobody greater.
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 CEF, CEF. Nobody greater. CEF, CEF. Nobody greater.
CEF, CEF.
Nobody greater.
CEF, CEF.
Nobody greater.
CEF, CEF.
Nobody greater.
CEF, CEF. CEF, CEF. CEF, CEF. glad that we found you.
Hi, my name is Liz Brown, and I was a CEF Durham advocate for 4 years before joining full-time for 1 year as a Housing Justice Fellow. For me, CEF was my formation. It was the first extracurricular I joined when I got to Duke, searching for a connection to my home community when those felt difficult to come by. It was the place where I witnessed many of the hard injustices of racism and inequality, things I knew in my head but had been shielded from by systems that were built for me. At CEF, I began to ask lots of big questions. How do I use my unearned privilege in the right way? How do we make any change in a country intent on moving backwards? A reflection I wrote senior year reads, "Change doesn't just happen at the policy level. Change also happens in individual meetings with CEF members. When we decide to no longer deal with the bank's predatory practices and instead open a savings account with a trusted credit union. When we don't take an eviction or a garnishment or a bad credit score lying down, and instead make calls, send letters, and demand answers. This is change. This is how we create the world as it should be." As a Housing Justice Fellow, I had the pleasure of working with CEF members to fight for that world through organizing. This work came from a recognition that if we only fight things like bad credit on the individual level, we will keep doing it forever. And at CEF, the ultimate goal is to work ourselves out of the job. With that charge, an organized, powerful collective of CEF member leaders with lived experience, strong voices, and an even stronger conviction that enough is enough, held monthly time and talents meetings, fought for affordable housing, and spoke truth to power on many, many occasions. This work led me directly to my current job at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in Washington, D.C. There, I work little by little to structurally dismantle the predatory financial systems I have seen do serious harm to CEF members, from payday lending to unfair debt collection to redlining. The experiences and stories of CEF members inform and inspire my work each and every day, and serve as a reminder that every policy has a person on the other side worth fighting for. Though I am no longer able to support CEF in person, I now choose to support CEF with my dollars. As we struggle as a country with systemic racism and the massive racial wealth gap, I can think of no better place to financially support than CEF, a place doing the work of racial justice and facilitating the redistribution of wealth from the ground up. Through things like safe savings accounts, the incredible Dauntless staff, and true grassroots community organizing, you can be sure any money you choose to give to CEF will be invested in creating a more equitable, hopeful world. And I urge you to support that vision, now more than ever.
Hi, my name is Colleen, and I've been a member of CEF since 2014. And CEF has really helped change my life. I can count on them for anything. They're helping me with a lawsuit right now, currently, and in the past they helped me with taxes. They did them for free. They give me resources. I've gotten jobs through them. Job resources is great, and just follow-ups have been great. It's just been very supportive. The staff is very friendly. I've never had a problem here. They seem to put you first, and they really want to help. They help a lot, and they really want to help. This is a real good organization, and if you're not a member, you should become a member, because you can get some really good help and some good resources from CEF.
I'm Gene Nickel from the law school and the Poverty Center in Chapel Hill. I've been asked to say a word or two about the Community Empowerment Fund, which I am honored to do. CEF and I are old friends. I work a lot in low-income communities across North Carolina, and when people ask me what nonprofit in the state does the best work in partnership with low-income communities? My answer is always the same. Community Empowerment Fund in Chapel Hill and in Durham, bar none. It is the best, number one. The reasons, to me, there's this founding, youthful, not to be denied idealism, which is back of it. I remember, it's years ago now, I guess 12 years, 11 or 12 years, Maggie West coming into my office over at the law school and saying they wanted to start this outfit, bringing together students working with folks in the shelter in Chapel Hill and more entrepreneurial types over at the business school concerned with assets and the like. Making small loans, microloans, I think they were called, building bank accounts, teaching financial skills to those having a hard time of it. I was a little skeptical at first, but they won me over, just like they have won over everyone they've ever met with. Sometimes old people like me need young people to teach them what's possible and what's not. I have been, over the last 12 years, one of CEF's most attentive students. We work together a lot. Also Heather Hunt, my colleague at the Poverty Center, has as well. Joe Polich, some of our students and young lawyers. Our great colleagues over at Self-Help, and CEF's track record is one for the history books. Hundreds of volunteers, thousands of members, people around the country trying to learn their ways, their special magic, their secret sauce. And to me, that's the key, the kind of juice they have. They learned quickly that they could learn great knowledge, great skills, great heart from their partners, from the people that they work with, the great and inspiring folks that they work with every day. They learned that that was the core, the meaning, the heart of this marvelous work is its community, and they have built on that, and this community has built CEF. So whether it's in creating assets or getting jobs or building skills or producing Broadway musicals of the greatest sort, having the most remarkable advocacy for affordable housing that anyone has ever seen, CEF has been our lodestar. And to me, they have this notion that it's not the money, it's the relationship which guides all. So tonight, I am writing a check, and if you can, I hope that you will too. If not, give them some of your hours and your friendship, your heart, your hands. You'll learn what they know, and that is that you get back a whole lot more than you give. So here's to my great heroes at the Community Empowerment Fund. We are all forever in your debt. Thanks.